Hey, today we are going to talk about what's my number, and that's the number that you have to have saved up to be able to retire. So I want to try to keep this short, brief, and powerful. But if I'm in a grocery store line, or just trying to mentor a younger person, or just share some basic information with someone that doesn't understand finances or money, I find the most powerful thing to leave them with, if I only have like 5 minutes, is what's your number? And then once you figure out what your number is, you have a target to shoot at. You know that's what you need to be able to accomplish your motivation. So some of your motivations, these are the big questions, are what should I save? How does money work? What's real money? How does compound interest work? What's my time horizon, till I retire? What year am I going to retire in? What's risk tolerance all about? And some of the images just explain that better. You try to look for images that kind of convey the information for people. But retirement calculator, this kind of helps do the numbers. So what I find is your time horizon is, depending if you're 20 and it's your first job, or you're 60, maybe 50, 65, and you're about to retire, or maybe you're 75 and you're already in retirement. So I've had to work with all these people and boil it down to begin, grow, retire. That's kind of what I call it. So maybe you're just beginning in your life. You need to figure out how it all works. Maybe you're in the growth stage. You're growing your money, and you need to consider things like diversification, risk tolerance, time horizon. And so begin, grow, and retire. And then if you're in a retirement stage, you can't go work an extra 40 hours on top of your 40, like these younger, cocky 50-year-olds. Oh, I just work another 40. You can't. You're old. You're tired. Not old, but you're just tired. And you're living on a fixed income. And I find from age 65, it takes you about till age, sometimes just 1 year, to figure out, hey, this is it. This is my monthly nut. It's all I get. I'm going to have to go work at Walmart, or, hopefully I have some rental properties or a couple pensions and a Social Security check and a spouse, or I work for the city and I get au pairs. There's different chunks of money that come in automatically. So there's a pension. Pension is a big chunk of money that spits off interest to you. You just live off the apple tree. You don't chop down the tree, burn the wood, and blow it all in a year. Most people do. You got to let that tree grow, and you want to prune it, try to get more growth, and you want to take those apples, and you live off the apples. That's your income, your pension, your cash flow above expenses. So, Kiyosaki says rental properties, gold, silver, and Bitcoin right now are what you should have in 2020. It's basically August. We're on July 27th, you can see down here. So those are the things that you want to consider. So let me just give you the money. Here's basically what I find most people need, and that is, the average income in America right now, $60,000. Divide that by 12, that's $5,000 a family per month. So that's our median income. So if you need $5,000 a month and you need that to come automatically mailbox money for 12 months, you need $60,000 getting spun off to you repetitively, right? So you need an apple tree that's spinning off $60,000. Well, that's a big apple tree or a big apple orchard. So how are you going to get that done? What we do is we take the amount that you need to live on, and we divide it by, if you want to get car insurance, house insurance, or retirement insurance, you have to go to an insurance company. So there's insurance for retirement, and that's something that I can help you with if you have a chunk of money and you want it to spin off guaranteed income for life. I call it mailbox money, paychecks for life. They'll guarantee that you'll get a check no matter what, as long as you don't take out more than they guarantee they can give you, which is usually 5% at 65. So assuming you're going to retire at 65, we need 60,000. They'll guarantee, most of them, the rule of thumb is that they're going to pay by about 5%. So we need one. If you count the zeros there's a comma, 1.2 million. 1.2 million times a contract that guarantees you 5% paychecks for life, or income for life, or an income rider on top of that, that'll give you 60,000. So that's where that's heading. And you can have rental properties, you can day trade, you can manage rental properties for other people. There's all these different things you can do. But at the end of the day, Europeans got to the place where like, all right, I'm going to die. I want to leave my trust and my wealth. And I want, before I go, I want to make sure I have contractual contracts that a 200, 300-year-old insurance company is going to send my wife and, my trust instructions. Maybe some of that will go to my kids. I want them to get checks for life. I want to know that I've taken care of it. I want to have peace of mind so that I can pass. So getting your ducks in order, getting your things going, this is what it looks like. So you would use an insurance contract to accomplish that, or when a company lets you go, it's a pension. You sign your life away to them, they keep all the money, and you're out. Now, I like to help people get all their money and their own Social Security number. Don't sign the paper. We'll shop the market to see who may pay you 5.5%, or even 6%. Or maybe we wait a couple years. So if 1.2 million, if we can get you, 0.055, that's another 6,000 a year. That's an extra 500 a month. That's a lot of ice cream cones. That's trips to the go canoeing or mountain biking or whatever you want to do with the grandkids. So if we can get if we got 1.2 million and we get you 0.6%. Because we shopped it, 72,000 divided by the subtract the 60, I got an extra $12,000. It's got an extra $1,000 a month every month, guaranteed the rest of your life by an A+ rated company. So that's my value, but you don't appreciate what I do until I show you where you're heading. So your number, which we found was 60,000, well actually your goal was 1.2 million. Here's basically the thinking. So why should I save if you're in the begin stage versus grow or retire? Why should I save? Well, you got a job, you'll blow it all, guaranteed. You'll get here and you'll have absolutely nothing. So first and foremost, saving. Money is the most important thing that helps protect you from the event of a financial emergency. So always your goal one is to get an emergency fund for 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months. So if you lose your job, you can pay bills for 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months and have food to eat and gas to go get a new job. If you ever lose your job until you get another job is to get a job. Okay? So if you don't have a job right now and you're sitting around getting this government assistance, you are getting taken advantage of. They know that after 6 months you give up and your mentality changes. So get out there and get another job or start a business. I'm a franchise consultant. I can help you get any franchise you want. It can be a van, windshield fixes, mosquito spraying. You can get a Subway and Arby's. It doesn't matter. We'll take you through the process to find what's right for you. How does money work? So you might not know how money works, but money only has value because people give it value. Currency and financial accounts might not have any value on their own, but money becomes valuable when everybody agrees to use it. So because money is based on an agreement, the actual currency can be anything. You've probably heard in school that the Indians sold Manhattan, the most expensive piece of land in New York City, for beads and shells and trinkets. So they didn't know about real estate and titles and deeds. Just a gross miscommunication. But anyways, they agreed that beads was something they could say, hey, that's valuable. We'll take that. They had no idea that someone was going to come in and kick them out and say, now I own it, you gave me the beads. But anyways, they agreed on something to be used. So what is money? Is it these green paper pieces of paper made of cotton that's in our wallet? What is real money should be your next question. So fiat money, or fiat, what does fiat mean? Okay, inconvertible paper money made legal tender by government to create. So what is real money? Real money is actually only, well, let's go to the definition. Real money is backed by something tangible, of value, generally precious metals such as gold or silver. So you just learned for the first time in your life one of the most important things that I am doing this video for is to teach you that when the US dollar crashes and you come back to this video and be like, he knew it a long time ago, everybody's known for 20 years this is going to crash. Every currency in history, no matter what, has died every 40 years. So we've been around, the US dollar's changed its printout and some of the declarations on it, but we're pushing 120 years, I think, that the US dollar's been alive. But it used to be backed by gold. They took the gold away in 1968, and now it's just worthless, and they're printing tons of it. So supply and demand, if you haven't had an education, when the supply of something goes up, if there's a lot of hamburgers, the price goes down really low. Think of McDonald's dollar burger. You can get them anywhere. But if you want a Billy's burger from Jackson Hole, you can only get them in Billy's out there, and they're very expensive. Or diamonds. If the supply of diamonds goes down, the price goes up, and they try to pull that monopolization of industry all over the place. And there's rules against that. But so real money is only silver and gold. Fiat money is not real. Compound interest is huge. So if you have, let's assume you have $0 now, and you're going to try to save $100 a year, and you have 40 years to go because you're age 20, and we get you, I'm not in the financial markets anymore, but if you can get 7% in the market, let's see what that future value is, 21,000. We need that to say 1.2 million. So we might need to put, let's say you're going to start with, you say you mulched all summer, saved up 5,000, and you're going to do that every year and put 5,000 in and keep getting 7%. Hey, look, we're almost to your 1.2 million. So you might, let's just say you start with 0, but let's say since you are allowed to put $7,000 in an IRA, you do that. And I don't think 7% is realistic. Let's say 5%. That would be stretching it. 877,000. So you might need to put more money in. You might need to fill your IRA and your 401k. You can put $7,000 in an IRA and a 401k this year. I think it might be up to 16 plus 16,000. So 16 plus the 7. So if you maxed out the allowable amount the government lets you put in out of your income and not pay any taxes on it, you would have more than enough over 40 years. Let's see, over 30 years. You'd still have more than enough. So right now, if you want to retire at 65 and you're 35, this could work for you, okay? So that's how we find out what you need to save, how much interest rate you need to make. That's kind of up to a guy like me or a financial advisor. You want to try to get the best return on your investment or do real estate and get tax deductions. Your time horizon, how long you have to do it, that's this number, okay? Your risk tolerance goes into your interest rate. You can't get, in a mutual fund, you might get 12% 1 year, but to try to think you're going to get that 30 years in a row and end up with $6 million, it's just foolish. So I think 5% is a reasonable return. That's what the insurance companies will guarantee. That's why they guarantee that, if you have 1.2 million, they have actuarials, and their only job is to run numbers all day, every day. So if an insurance company who has people called actuarials in paid positions at age 65 will guarantee you 5% a year, they're pretty confident they can make that 5% to keep spinning that off to you. And they're hoping at the end of it that they get to keep your money because you signed the papers at work. So if you sign the pension at work, you give away all your money forever. So if you know someone about to retire, please have them call me before signing anything, because we like to keep everything in your Social Security number or the number of your trust. If you don't have a trust, we'll help you get one with our network. And you can stay in control instead of giving your money away to like the Detroit firefighters and police officers and teachers and government employees. Trusted the government with their pensions. They went bankrupt, lost it all, and now they're working at McDonald's. Yeah, it sucks. So, don't mean to be dramatic, but it's pretty dramatic when you lose you're about to retire and they're like, sorry, lost all your money. That's just not going to cut it. So, now you know your number. If you want to call me, I'll run your private number for you. Let's just do an example. Someone's working I hear people, if you're still working and you use the word, I get this many hours, let's talk to you about real quick. This should be a whole nother video, but you want to look up, please go to Rich Dad Poor Dad and look up the cash flow quadrant. Let's just do this. Google cash flow quadrant, and what this is going to do is this is going to talk to you. Here's a good picture somebody drew on the board. You can be, I like the ink better. Okay, you can be an employee and think hourly, you have a job and get 40 hours, or you can be a self-employed and start your own widget company selling, maybe paint rocks with smiley faces and sell them on Shopify. You're self-employed. You just replaced your job from a paycheck to you're responsible for making the money. And then as a business owner, you hire people that do stuff, but you can walk away and that system keeps working. Then eventually you can invest and be an investor, and that's when you just invest in Coke and diversified industries and something that's, I think Warren Buffett just bought 10% of Bank of America. He thought it was undervalued. So he buys it low, it goes up, he sells. Buy low, sell high. Buy low, sell high. So anyways, if you're still in the employee quadrant, you're probably thinking, oh, I get 32 hours. So if you get 32 hours and you're getting $11.50, you're getting 368 a week, and guess what? There's 52 weeks. So you're making $19,136 a year. Okay, so how you doing? Let's look at poverty level. Okay, poverty level for a single person is at $12,760. That's the poverty guideline. If you're a couple, 17,000. You're actually doing better than the poverty level. So if you're providing for two people and you're making over 17, you're good. But this is when you can start getting government benefits, but you don't want to suck on that teat. You don't want to bite that hook and get hooked and get used to people giving you, because it just ruins your ability to be creative and go out there. It just makes you brain dead. So if you're making 19,000, what I would encourage you is to stop thinking hourly and start thinking in a business type of mindset. I'm looking for the picture. There we go. So you want to move out of employee mindset to be either self-employed and do it all yourself, or hire 10 people, or start with 1, start with 3 people, train them what you do, and then charge double. You're going to have a third for employee income. You're going to have a third for product. If you have a roofing company, third for materials, third for labor, third for profit. That's pretty much construction 101. So you train them to sell your item with a profit built in for the business. You have 3 people making you profits, and you're the business owner. You keep that. Okay, take some of that profit, and then you can understand how to use money by tithing, investing, saving, investing, and paying taxes and saving. But when you do that as an investor, you are moving to another level. So you want to get here, but you're here, so you got to kind of meander like this. If you talk to a franchise consultant like me, you can go straight from being an employee to finding someone with money, and you'll be the S to them, and they'll be the owner and hire you to be the manager and part owner. But they're going to be the money, you're going to be the manager, and now you've got yourself out of working for someone else. You're working for yourself at least, and you have someone being the money because he's an investor in your job, and together you have a business. So those are some thoughts. But right now, I wanted to keep this pretty short. Basically, your number is how much you have to live on. So if you look at your gross income that you have at the top of your tax return, and let's just pick some random numbers. If it's $65,874, you basically divide by 0.05, and that's what most insurance companies will give you for a pension if we set it up for you, and that'll be your number. Okay, so if you're making 99,000, you're making about 100,000, and you want to retire at 65, we're going to need about $2 million. If you're doing great out there and you're making $250,000 a year, we're going to, same thing, we're going to need about $5 million. So, if you're making $1.2 million, you probably have businesses, but you need $24 million to just get mailbox money, or you can, build yourself a 120 unit for that. So 3 commas, let's see, 3 commas, right there, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 24 million. 12 million for 120 units. So you could probably build 240 units. It's about 100,000 a unit. So guys, I hope you have found your number for the average American. Your income's 60,000. Just divide by 0.05. Your number's 1.2 million. Now you know your target. Why should I save? Because you want to have an emergency fund and be able to make purchases, avoid debt, reduce your financial stress, leave a financial legacy, and provide a greater sense of financial freedom. Remember the cash flow quadrant as you mature. Understand where the poverty level is. Understand that really only gold and silver is money. But people agree to use what's called a currency because they've agreed that it's of value to both people. What's real income? Real income is only gold and silver. This paper money is toilet paper. You know what you do with that. It's fiat money, that is the technical term. Get a compound interest calculator and play around with it. Put in how much you've saved. So you have $33,000 and you're going to max out your 401k and IRA, and you've only got 11 years to go. It's likely you'll make 5% if you're pretty reasonable. That's pretty much moderate risk. So you can grow your 33,000 to 400. So if you know your goal is 1.2 million, you need to find a spouse who's also going to save that 23,000. You need to double this to 46,000. You get married, and together you'll get closer. Okay. So then you just take the 743,000, 0.05, multiply by 5%. We'll be able to spin off 37,000 a year, and your monthly check will look like this. You'll get $3,000 a month. It's not the $5,000 you're used to living on, but your car and your house should be paid off. So technically, out of this 1.2 million being your number, you only need, they say 70% because your mortgage and your car should be paid off. So your number is really only 840,000 for that average American making 60 grand. Okay, so this couple is pretty darn close. They did pretty good. That'll work for now. Time horizon, just you got to understand when you want to retire might be here, but you haven't saved enough, so you might have to work to forever. Or then, so that's the value of me working with you to help you be able to say, I wanted to retire here. I'm not working the rest of my life. Help me figure out how I can retire here, and that's what I'm going to do. Okay, and then we'll talk about your risk tolerance and your time horizon. Hope that was valuable to you. Why don't you schedule an appointment or get a hold of me on private message, and we'll get your life together, okay? And at least have a target of where you're heading, okay? And start a savings plan. All right. That's all for now. Have a great day.